Could the South Bay actually be behind Los Angeles in transit ridership? Sounds amazing and perhaps impossible, but Sebastian Kunz has been chasing transit officials all afternoon, and he explores Bay Area bike lanes and train tracks in tonight's Top Story Spotlight. Hey, Sebas.
Hey, John. It's an article that I read in today's Mercury News, actually, which discussed bicyclists, transit, and the Silicon Valley, and it looks like, as for the South Bay, they need some help.
San Jose and Silicon Valley certainly have a green culture, and in many ways that's positive. When it comes to our love affair with our cars, however, California is still a little too car crazy, and we have to get more people out of their own cars and into rail cars and other forms of transit as well.
It's a distinction many Bay Area residents probably don't want to be known for, with all the transit opportunities, all the bicycle accommodations, and all the great weather around here. Among the top 50 U.S. cities coming to workforce population, San Jose recently came in 45th out of 50. Carl Guardino is CEO of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. He says there is no single silver bullet.
There are ways, whether we're talking transportation or buildings or land use, the environment or energy, that we can all lead a cleaner and greener existence. And a lot of that is not only around our transportation choices, but the land use decisions that our public policy partners in cities and towns make that emphasize the reality of making those choices as easy as possible.
In short, land use means basically having residential areas close to industrial workplace type areas, so you don't need to drive alone to work every day.
We have more than 300 sunny days a year. It's moderate temperatures. The average commute for 40% of Bay Area workers is 5 miles or less each day, and so it's ideal. The problem has always been our land use patterns. We still have more sprawl than we do density, and this leads to longer and longer commute trips for too many folks. But when 4 out of 10 could easily do it, we need to design a culture and a transportation system that emphasizes alternatives.
And there are some things you'd think would be factors which don't seem to be, like the great Bay Area weather, which we all know and love.
I'm always fascinated to see that sometimes cities with relatively poor weather have the highest percentages of bicycle commuters. Portland, for instance, probably ranked fairly high. And, obviously the weather in Portland is somewhat less accommodating for cycling, a lot more rain.
That's Greg McFeeters with the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition, who told me today some things can be done to make that person with the bike in the garage head out onto the roads. For instance, they have a course called Street Skills,
where basically people can come to these classes. It's a free class. It's 2 nights and then a afternoon actually out riding their bikes in traffic, and it really helps people get comfortable with the idea. And everyone sort of feels like they know how to ride a bicycle. They learned that when they were in first grade, but just knowing how to ride a bicycle and knowing how to operate one confidently and safely in traffic are two very different things.
As for the rail agency's Caltrain spokesperson, Tasha Bartholomew, says there are about 2,400 bicyclists which use Caltrain every single day. There is very little extra space, though sometimes there is more than one bike car per train. As for Santa Clara County, including the express buses, the light rail, Bernice Alanis is Deputy Director of Marketing for Valley Transit Authority. She says millions of passenger trips were taken last month alone, 3.7 million, and they are slowly but surely seeing ridership increase on routes like their express buses.
The advantages of the bus rapid transit type of service is that the buses make fewer stops, and they get signal priorities at intersections, and some certain intersections have queue jump lanes where they can go around traffic so that they can increase their time saving.
Now, for San Jose to get beaten by San Francisco when it comes to cycling and transit is one thing, but when LA commuters are 3 times more likely to use transit, according to the U.S. Census Data, it's not something the Silicon Valley is very proud of. Carl Guardino says, for one thing, fun events can help folks to increase their pedal power.
Our CEO Celebrity Cycled a Workday Challenge. We found that when we can get CEOs onto their bikes, or a combination of their bike and other forms of transit, that sends a message internally that it's okay with the boss, it must be okay for me. And that led last May to 50 CEOs in spandex, encouraging thousands of their employees to do likewise, and that has meaningful results, not just on that one day, but long-term as well.
No doubt it's quite the photo op. Also, John, new details for the South Bay's transit plan are in the works, and they go before transit officials at the end of the month.
Thank you very much, sir. Our top story spotlight from Sebastian Kunz.